Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Friends Podcast, man. Thank you so much for joining us. If it's your first time, thank you for coming through. We appreciate all the listeners, new and old, man. My name is Matt. I'm here with my two co-hosts.
What's up, y'all? It's Jermayne.
And it's Rod the Don, Zaddy, Black Capo, Rizzy Murphy, Dirty Hercules, Zah Morant. And this is the Fran Podcast. Make sure you check us out. We're streaming everywhere. Also, make sure you check out our new shop. We got shirts and our limited item rugs and stickers on there. So make sure you go check that out.
So I wanted to ask y'all a question, just off the top of the dome that I was just thinking about. So I was thinking about morality, ethics, and things of that nature. And so I was kind of if you're the person, so if you sleep with somebody that's married, you're unmarried, you're single, and you're the person that sleeps with a married person. I don't know how I feel about the morality of that. Being a single person sleeping with a married person. So like, I just kind of wanted to get your thoughts on, like, is that morally wrong for you to be the adulterer or like the person that they cheat with? Like, I don't know how bad you can feel about that if the person is willing to you know cheat on their marriage. You know what I mean? So I just kind of wanted to get your thoughts on that. Like, is that bad to sleep with somebody that's married?
I mean, in my perspective, are we talking about this person is married?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. So like, it was a conversation before, like you knew it and you still carried it out.
Mm-hmm. It's tricky. Like, long story short, yeah, like it's still wrong because that person can't cheat unless there's somebody who's willing to cheat with. If nobody is willing to say like, hey, he's married, like let me not do that, he can't cheat. What's he gonna do? So it's still wrong, but at the end of the day, like the vows are also between the two people who got married.
Right. See, that's my whole thing is like, yeah, you have to be available for them to be able to cheat with, but also like if it's not you, it's gonna be the next person that they try to get to cheat. So it's like, I get what you're saying, but at the same time, like, I mean, you might as well just get your rocks off at that point, like, in my opinion.
Yeah, but like, let's say that's the case, right? And you look at it from the perspective of, okay, well, I don't owe this other person anything. I'm not married. I didn't commit to be monogamous with one person for life. Um, like, what advantage do you really get by sleeping with the married person outside of sex?
That's it. That's really it. I mean, unless
Because
you,
you could get sex somewhere else.
I mean, there's so many different layers to this question. So we're going on the pretense that they know, like they were married. Because I feel like if they didn't know, then it's not really your fault. But if they do know, then morally and ethically wrong, yeah, I feel like that's kind of fucked up. Um, but also, like when y'all just asked the question, what do you get out of it? I feel like that's just in any relationship. Like you're gonna get perks of being in that relationship. Yes, it's gonna be sex, but it's also like you get time with that person. Where normally you would be alone. You would also probably get gifts and outings and things like that. You're still getting the benefit of being with someone rather than by yourself. So I feel like there is benefits. It's just like you be in a relationship, but you just don't have the title per se. You're doing all the things that you would normally get in a relationship, but you're not really with that person.
I can't speak from like what you guys might experience as men, but as women, like to me, you don't really get a lot as a side chick. Like you don't get the holidays. The holidays, he's with wifey and the kids. Um, you don't have access to him all the time. You want to call him, hey, I can't talk with the wife. Like yeah, you get some time with this person, but it's like limited, it's in secret, maybe if you play it right, you might be the type of woman who gets some money out of it. But, you know, I think in terms of the emotional effect, like you don't really, I don't see how somebody can fully satisfy your emotional needs if they're actually like trying to satisfy the emotional needs of their actual partner.
right, and they're probably not doing that either to the fullest of their ability.
That goes into another point. Are they hiding the relationship away from their partner? Is it secretive? And also like when it comes down to like going to your significant other or whatever, it's like family. Most of the time you really want to be with your own family anyway. So holidays really ain't that big of a deal, I feel like, for people. Don't you normally want to go to see your own fam anyways, rather than someone else's?
I mean,
So
yeah.
it's like that's not like a big deal. Like
I think it might be different for women than for men. Like for women, you have the fantasy of like, oh, Christmas Eve, we're gonna like sip hot cocoa next to the fire, and on Christmas Day, we're gonna wake up and open up the gifts together. Like you want to do those things with this person. You want to make those sort of memories. Um, and I think that's why like having a side chick doesn't really work long term, because at a certain point, like women, we're emotional creatures. You're gonna catch feelings and you're going to want those things. So it might start as like, yo, I just want the sex. I just want some fun times. Maybe we go on a trip here or there. Maybe he breaks me off with some coin. But like eventually you're gonna want the memories, the lovey dovey stuff that he probably can't do if he's married.
I mean, yeah, that is true. I mean, I guess it depends on the arrangement, because if you just know like this is just we having fun, if that's the arrangement, then sure. But like you said, like you never know when you can catch feelings. You never know when you start feeling some type of way about somebody, and that's when it gets a little bit tricky. I just put my thoughts out there as like I think that sure it's morally wrong, of course. Like obviously, like they made those vows in front of God, like of course, but like at the end of the day, if I'm the person that's sleeping with a married person, like that shit don't got
Have you
nothing to
done
do
it?
with me. That's a good question.
Or would you?
That's a good question. We're not talking about me right now, though. I'm just this is just a question. This is just a
I was like, this question had to come from somewhere, so I was like,
no. I mean, I'm just
well, I feel like you might feel guilty, or he was like, man, is this morally or ethically wrong?
I don't have nothing to feel guilty about, though. That's the thing.
But hey, that still doesn't say that you didn't do it. That just says you don't have a reason to feel guilty. Hey, it's a no judgment zone. No judgment.
No, yeah, I know.
You ain't do nothing wrong.
I didn't do nothing at the like for real. I didn't do anything. This is just really a question that was just off the top of my head. I was just thinking
So,
about it.
what do you
Sure.
think about like? Do you think the married person ever leaves their husband, wife, whatever, for the new person? And if so, can that actually work out?
No, I think it could. This the thing though, like I don't know the exact saying where it's like, how you found them is how they gonna leave you. I can't remember the exact saying, but basically
How you get
saying
them is how you lose them.
exactly how you get them is how you lose them. So if that's how you are introduced to them, like they married, oh, like we having fun, blah 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 blah. Like who's to say that y'all get married and then it's like same thing happens when they find another person that they're attracted to. So it's like it could work out, but
We've definitely seen popular figures like it worked out for them. Like the person who they're cheating on and having an affair with, they ended up marrying, and they're doing great. So
Yeah,
I mean, it does happen,
mhm.
I know people in real life that was a situation that happened, and they actually turned out happy and fine.
as they should,
Um,
though.
so like that's why yes, I get the morality factor, quote unquote, but I also think it's layered because everybody's marriage is different. Like there are some people who is really like, no, I'm actually happy with my husband and wife, and I just want to cheat just because I want to do it for the sport of it. I'm bored. I want some excitement. And then I do think every now and then there are people where it's like, I'm really not happy in my marriage. I'm really not satisfied. And I met somebody who is my soulmate, or we are just like way more compatible. And now I just got to figure out how to get out of my marriage to be with this person.
I want to talk about like the person who's just doing it for the sport of it, though. Like, what do we think of that person?
I mean, people got needs, like sometimes one is not enough, you know what I mean? For people. I'm not saying that's me. I'm just saying like that's an experience that people have is like that's just not enough. I need something new. I need something exciting. I don't feel bad.
I don't know. I think that's when you start getting to like sex addiction
Yeah, a
levels.
little bit.
I knew a guy like that before who he was with this girl and he used to talk about how much he loved her, whatever. And he cheated on her like crazy. Like he was the most bold, rampant cheater ever. Like would cheat on her with women who didn't look as good, like just any type of woman he could get with, he would. And I remember, talking to him about it. And he was like, oh, well, like, someday I'll stop. Like, once she gets pregnant or something, or once we have a kid or we settle down, then I'll stop. That happened. He still ain't stopped.
Exactly.
It actually, in a lot of ways, got worse. And I just remember asking him, I'm like, but you love her? And he's like, yeah, I love her. She's perfect. She is my perfect woman in every
Nah.
single way. He was like, I just, he was like, what's the saying? Like, it's a master key if it can open any lock.
Mm-hmm.
that type of mindset to me is where I'm like, all right, this is not boredom. This is not trying to spice it up. Like, you are a sex addict at that point.
Like it's one of them. I'm not trying to get too psyche, but like it's kind of like a conquering type of thing. Like he want to dominate like
Yeah.
every woman that he can. Like put his flag down. Like it's one of them types of things. And it's like
Yep.
that's an issue a little bit. You know what I mean? You might need to go seek therapy, seek a psychiatrist or something like that. But yeah, that's the
I don't
thing.
know. I
Like,
feel like he seems like a good dude though. Like he seems
huh?
like it'd be like the fun person in the group, the extroverted person.
I mean, he was fun. I don't know how much his girlfriend at the time enjoyed it, but it was fun to everybody else.
Yeah, like I feel like if you really fucking everyone, your girl has to know because people talk.
Everyone. Like, it was the most disrespectful thing I have ever seen. It was really horrible.
So
Horrible.
I feel like that's just like their relationship. Like if she probably just knew at that point.
She did, but it's this thing of like, okay, I love him. I want to give him a chance to change. And then eventually, of course, she got sick of it and she left. But like, I want him to stop.
But
And
they
maybe
had a
to your
baby
point,
like right after like all of that stuff. So it's like she fed into it. She still ended up getting a kid from him. I don't know how far the relationship went, if they eventually got married or anything like that, but it's still like she played into it. She knew who he was before. So how can you really be that upset? Like
Yeah.
you took it all that time and you was cool. You even had a child with him afterwards. After knowing that stuff, it's like, hey, you lay in the same bed.
so then maybe, I don't know, maybe that's the solution, is that people need to be honest about who their partners are and like get with somebody, like just accept this is who this person is. Like, if your man's a cheater, but you love him, maybe you rock it out and just know, hey, we need to always strap up because I don't know who else he might have been messing with. But so recently, Adam 22 and Lena the Plug, they finally got married not too long ago. And they always shoot together, usually for anybody who doesn't know, Lena the Plug is a porn star and they usually shoot together, or she does girl and girl scenes. And she actually just did her first male scene with
Yeah.
a black male porn star.
His name is Jason.
Jason. Sounds like he would be a porn star. It's an example of, hey, accepting somebody for who they are, right? And what they do. What do you guys think about that? Could you imagine, a situation where you let your girl have sex with somebody else, especially if she was getting paid for it, like if it was her profession?
Man, that is wild. Never. I can never let my wife go and have sex with another male, especially a professional at it. Like
And a
that's
black man at that. That's kind of like, that's kind of
that's
wild.
even worse. It's like this person is like he's skilled. Like it ain't
Yeah.
like some random stranger who you might be able to outfuck. It's like this guy is like he's good.
Professional, certified.
I mean, you would think. I don't know. That's a whole different conversation. But is porn stars the best fuckers? Maybe not. I don't know. Who knows? But I mean, what I think
Yeah,
about it.
that's why they're professional.
Is it? I don't know. I don't know a lot about like why people like. I don't know. I don't know what brings people to porn. Is it like, oh, I know how to fuck real good. Let me just do this. Like, I don't know if that's what it is. But in terms of this conversation, like with the Adam 22 and Lena the Plug, like I don't see why people are up in arms personally, because Adam knows who his girl is and it's like that's what she was gonna do. Like that's her profession. Similar to the
Yeah.
Freddie Gibbs thing. Like
He's had
that's
scenes with her as well, like him and other girls than her. So.
Okay, but let's go back to what we were saying about like cheating earlier, right? If you want to be a rampant cheater, why even be in a relationship, or like why get married? I feel
right.
the same way about this. Like, it's not cheating. Obviously, he knew that she was going to have sex with somebody else, but at this point, why get married? Like,
Well, actually, I want to play the clip from him because he responded after everybody has been talking about it.
My girl for 7 years. We just got married.
Mhm.
We're not in an open relationship, but from a perspective, we shoot with other girls, stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
But no other guys is busting her.
Well, you guessed it. Over the weekend,
Oh no.
Something like that.
she filmed her first ever scene with another man.
I know you was mad.
Shit.
You was
I mean,
angry.
I agreed to it, so I wasn't.
But-
I say
but-
angry might not be the word.
But you was kind of like disappointed a little bit. Like, you five like cut, that's your cinch.
You know, I agreed to
hood.
it. She gave me a lot of outs on the way in. Like
Yeah.
she kind of kept telling me, like, if you don't want me to, I won't do it.
You
You
should
know,
have said no.
I said that I wanted
You
her
already
to do
got
it. I'm
millions
like,
on top of millions of dollars, Adam. You didn't do that shit.
fair enough. But I
Come on,
told her, I'm
bruh.
like, I think you should do it. Let's get it
All
out the
right,
way.
so how do you vibe about it now?
She's
Do I need
32.
to get you an old English?
No, yeah, I don't need to drown the pain in the old
Okay.
English. But I was kind of surprised because I feel like I can like intellectualize it, and from my perspective, I don't think it should be a big deal.
Yeah.
But then after she actually did it, I'm not gonna lie, I did feel kind of odd. You know,
neighborhood
a
crib,
little
like-
bit of
like
that feeling
on
in the
hood.
belly.
See,
You know,
on
Was-
hood, like
was the guy
goddamn,
black?
like five real,
Yeah.
like
Oh,
goddamn,
man.
like on hood.
All right. Yeah. I think that kind of I ain't gonna say it changed my perspective, but at the same time, like Adam said, she gave him outs. She gave him an option. Like, yo, I don't really necessarily want to do this. Or like,
Nah. She didn't say she didn't want to do it. She wanted to do it. Like I saw her public page. She was like, finally.
For real?
Yeah, she said finally, like all caps, and it was just him behind her.
No.
Okay, so that's the thing, right? So, like, what if Adam would have said no? Do you feel like she still would have been like, oh, I really want to do this. I really want to do this. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like that's really why he said yes, is because maybe he felt like, all right, she really just want to go and do this right quick.
You know, I have my thoughts. I don't know if you guys want to hear my thoughts. I really don't. Stuff like this is making me feel like an old lady and she's older than me because you did this literally for what? Adam 22 makes plenty of money. There's no need for you to like be shooting porn in general to make more money. It's not like I looked it up. It says this could be off, obviously, but his net worth is suspected to be about $5 million. It's not a money thing. It's not you need this to like pay the bills, to like keep yourself going. You literally just got married a month and a half ago, 6 weeks ago. Like you couldn't even let the dust on the marriage settle before you had to have sex with another dude. Why not do this before you get married? Like I could even see like, all right, I'm going to do one shoot one time with the dude before I get married. And then it's going to be the end of it. You waited till after you got married. You've been with this dude 7 years. What was the point of even getting married?
Maybe this goes into what you said earlier about being a sex addict. Like she was a porn star prior. She loves sex. And obviously she has a sex problem. Or I don't know if it's a problem to them. I mean, they're used to it.
I'm sorry, it's disgusting. It's gross.
I mean, I feel you on that, but let's from a marketing perspective, that's provocative. You know what I mean? Like, oh damn, she just got married. Oh shit, she about to do a scene. Like everybody gonna try to watch it. You know what I mean? Like I get it from that perspective.
She chose like the most muscular black dude like she could find. It's just like she knew the response for sure. But it's also she definitely wanted to do it though.
She did. She clearly wanted to. Clearly, because like you said, she could have backed out. She didn't need him to say anything. She could have backed out on her own. I don't know. Like I said, I don't want to sound like the old lady here, but it's just like people have no morals today. Because, like I said, the money factor, you don't need the money. This isn't a desperation move. You did it because you wanted to. Then don't get married. This, we've talked a lot about like why marriages don't work and is marriage important or valuable today? This is why marriages don't work. Because people do it because you want to take cute fucking pictures that you can post on Instagram. Because I just went to her Instagram. Everything is pictures of this wedding. But you don't uphold any of the values. Exactly. But you don't uphold any of the values of being married. What's the point?
Maybe it sounded like she checked off all the boxes except for that though. The wanted to have sex.
That's a big box. Like having sex with other people.
Like she takes care of her child. She takes care of her husband. She's available and she's going to work.
Okay, this is like a weird pivot, but it's kind of in the same vein. If you had to date, if your wife had to be a sex worker, your wife, let's not even say your wife, because I think that's too sacred. Your girlfriend, that was how she got her money. What would you prefer? Would you prefer her to be an escort or to be a porn star?
That's a good question. I would say whichever one makes more money. So probably a porn star.
You can make good money in either. Because if you're a
neither.
high-end escort, but if you had to, like that was the only option.
They both the same to me. You both getting paid to have sex. I don't know. I guess escort also just seems, but you can be a high class escort.
Mm-hmm.
So
Exactly. So like, yeah, if she can get that, I mean, like I said, both of them are garbage. But if I had to choose one, it would definitely be the one that pays the most money because that's what it's all about. I mean, I would assume that's what it's all about for her if that's her profession. Like she's just trying to stack up. But I would hope to be in a position to not have her have her out there doing that shit no more. You know
Hmm.
what I mean? Which Adam is, and that's the crazy part about it is like you said earlier, Jermaine. Like she really don't have to do this at all. Like she good.
I just don't get what could have made Adam text her and say, "Yeah, go ahead." I just don't know what he was thinking. Like he should have just cut that out immediately. And was like, "No, come home."
The fact that afterwards that he was like, yeah, I did feel sick in my stomach. I think that's a conversation that I feel like our generation isn't having as much. Like we want to everybody wants to be so open-minded. Like, yo, I could do poly, I could do this, my partner can do whatever. Like, I know we have an open relationship. There are no boundaries. Da, 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 da. Yeah, my girl is an OnlyFans girl, my girl is a porn star, and everything is supposed to be cool. But we forget that like some of this stuff, like it's okay to not be cool with. It's okay to be like, no, I don't care about you hooking up with other girls, but like, no, you aren't about to be fucked by some big black dude. Like, no, that's not cool to me.
I,
No.
I kind of want to bring it somewhere else though, like with Adam 22. So he is a porn star himself, and he does have sex with other women. Is
Exactly.
so? Is there any difference between his wife doing it and him doing it?
Yes. And the difference is because he's a porn star because she's a porn star. Like she was the one doing porn first. She wanted to do scenes with the man. She brought him in. And then, bringing in other girls is another way to run up the bag. So it's because she started it, like she can't really be upset about him having sex with other women, in my opinion.
No, I definitely agree with that. I think that if it wasn't for her, he wouldn't be doing this shit. But in terms of like a double standard, where it's like, oh, but it's men fucking women or women fucking men, like a difference between that. Like, there's not a difference between that for me. But I do think that like that wasn't his profession. It seems kind of cloudy that he would just want to jump in and be like, oh, let me be a porn star too. Like, it seemed kind of weird, but it's a little bit different. But I think we can go ahead and get into this next topic. We exhausted this one, so let's get into it.
Well, first off, congratulations to Chrissy Teigen and John Legend. They just had their fourth baby, so shout out to them. They seem like
Hmm.
very excited, and they had this baby. I don't know if the previous children was via surrogate, but this one was, and I just think that's interesting. Like to have someone else carry your child. Maybe that's a big popular thing today, but I kind of want y'all opinion. Would y'all be willing to have like another person carry your child? That seemed a little weird to me.
And I can even give a little bit more background. So, like you were saying, the first two kids they did have, Chrissy did carry, and then they had another baby in January. So they just welcomed a baby that Chrissy delivered in January. And so she was pregnant the same time as a surrogate. They kind of wanted to do like a fake twin type situation. Um, in terms of your question about like what do I think about surrogacy, I'm going to be honest, I think we're starting to get a little bit too extreme with the surrogates. So if you I don't know if you guys pay attention to stuff like this, but so Kim Kardashian, she used surrogates for her last two kids. Khloe Kardashian did. um Naomi Campbell, she just had kids, I believe. I'm pretty sure that was by a surrogate. There are plenty of other celebrities who are doing it, and so it's becoming, I think, a lot more normalized. And so the next step after we see a bunch of celebrities do it is in, people start to talk about it as if it's a regular option for a normal person. um Surrogacy is incredibly expensive. It's like 50 grand or something crazy like that to have somebody else carry your kid. So it's definitely not something that I think is going to be super, super, super widespread. But I think a lot of times, like, we don't ever talk about the negative consequences of what could come out of that experience. Actually, just last night, I was watching the new season of The Kardashian Show, and Khloe was talking about how she doesn't feel like she can really connect to her new baby because somebody else carried him. Like, she was like, it was kind of weird. Like, one day you just go and somebody gives you a baby. It's like kind of a transaction.
So is it like I don't really know how surrogacy really goes, but is any of the genes from the person that's carrying the child a part of that embryo? Or is it only the mom and the dad who put it there?
Yeah, so there's a couple different ways you can do it. So sometimes you can do an embryo transfer. So it would be like the woman's eggs, the non-carrying woman's eggs would be put into the other woman, and after it's been fertilized. And then there are some people who, like, if you're maybe older and you just don't have like quality eggs, then yeah, essentially it's this other woman's eggs or somebody else who donates eggs, and either your like husband's sperm or sperm donor sperm. Uh, so it's interesting. But long story short, would I do it? No. I think it's also like, I hate to say it, but this may be like a controversial opinion. It's okay in life for some things to not happen. It's okay to be like, so Chrissy Teigen, for example, she was upset, or not upset, but she made a long post when she announced this baby saying how her goal was to always have 4 kids. She wanted to have 4 kids for forever. They already had 2. Um, she was pregnant before and they had a miscarriage in the 8th month. So they would have had 3, but they had 2. And then she had 3 when she had this new baby. And so the surrogate was a way for her to have another baby and to get her 4. It's like, isn't it okay to just have like the 3? Like, why do you have to have 4? Like, why do you, same thing with Kim Kardashian. Like, she had issues after her first 2 pregnancies, but she was determined to have 4 kids. Like, it's okay to not get everything you want in life. Like, when is that going to become normal again?
I agree with you, and I'm gonna take it a step further. I mean, a step further for me, I would say, is that it's okay to just not have kids in general. Like, we don't have to do this.
Yeah.
You know, just because everybody else having kids, you see all these pregnancy photos, you see all this type of stuff. Like, we don't have to do that. But I don't know. I want to take it back to the point where, why do people do it in the first place? I think that people do surrogacy because they don't want to. I think it's a vain thing where it's like they probably just don't want to ruin their body by being pregnant again or being pregnant at all. I think that's a little bit selfish, like to be like, oh, I want a kid, but I don't want to go through the process of having a kid, like, carrying the baby. You know what I mean? And obviously, there can be issues that happen, right? That, prevent people from having kids. But I think it's a little bit selfish sometimes. Now, would I do it? It's not up to me. That's the woman's choice. You know what I mean? Like, whatever the woman want to do, like, I'm fine with it. You know what I mean? Like, it's not up for me to decide. But I don't have a real big problem with it, but I do want to like explore why do people do it in the first place, other than medical reasons, other than like they can't do it.
I don't know. I feel like being the dude, like once you want to hear like your baby kick and like have like see that and get the touch, it'd be like you're always touching up on another woman, and it would seem a little weird to me.
That's not some shit I fantasize about though. Like I'm like, oh, like I want to hear my baby's heartbeat. Like I don't
Not
really care
yet,
about things like that.
but maybe you
I mean,
will.
it might happen. It might happen, but it's not
Do
like
you
something.
want to have kids? I mean, if you don't want to have kids, you would never have that fantasy.
Yeah, I was literally just talking about this yesterday. Like, it's not looking good for me and kids. I'm not really thinking about. Like I was talking about yesterday. I was like, shit, I might just adopt a kid from like Malaysia or some shit like that. Like, I might just do
That'd be
some shit like that.
beautiful.
You know what I'm saying? But like,
Malaysia.
Have a little Malaysian kid in a do rag. I love it. I think the surrogacy thing is so interesting because there is a time and a place for it, right? Like you mentioned earlier, if you are in a medical situation where, like, let's say you're a woman who kind of waited a little bit later to have a kid, and you have eggs, but you have another reason why you can't carry the baby, and you and your husband want a biological child. Okay, cool, I get that. When you have people who have multiple children and they're still doing things like this because they have the money to like pay for somebody else to do it. Like Khloe Kardashian is like, why couldn't you have the baby? Like, I don't know about you having any medical issues. Why didn't you carry? That's when it starts to feel, I don't know, almost like we're creating 2 societies. Like the people who have the means and the money to do whatever they want, and the people who are at the service workers to these people. Like, we carry your babies, we're the nannies to your babies, we're the wet nurses to your babies, we're gonna take care of your kids in daycare while you get to go out and live extravagantly. That's kind of what it feels like sometimes.
It seems like that's how it's always been, really. I mean, the rich always had kind of like a different life and a bunch of nannies and taking care of the kids. That's always been kind of a known thing.
For sure, but now it's the next level of that. They don't even have to like carry the baby and give birth to the baby. That's where it's like
That's
they're
wild.
really taking another step.
I do think it's like a great option for people who can't have a baby themselves if they
For
could
sure.
get an egg and happen to have a child. Like that's a beautiful thing for them. So,
Hmm.
but yeah, for just celebrities just doing it just because they don't want to ruin their body. But I do get their image is a part of how they make money. So I can see the back and forth there. But having a child, I feel like you will want to have that like feeling of having a child. But I'm not a woman, so um, yeah, like kind of what Matt said, it is up to the woman and her choice. Um, yeah, so I mean, I would do it if she wants to do it.
Yeah, I think that's the best policy for us as men. Like we don't really have a say. Like all we do is donate. Like part of a baby. You know what I mean? So
You know who really doesn't have a say? I'm convinced more and more who does not have a say in his family.
who's that?
Will Smith.
Man, yeah, that ship sailed a long time ago. It seems like.
Hmm. Jaden recently came out and said that Jada introduced psychedelics to the family.
That's an interesting thing. Like, what if y'all mama, y'all pops did that? Like, that's I can't even imagine some shit like that. Like, I ain't never even heard my mom cuss, drink, smoke. Like, she really brought out the shrooms and the acid and shit. And was like, let's turn it. Like, let's explore. Like, that's really some crazy shit to me.
Well, this is what they said. They said it would actually help us to open up our minds to get out of our old ways of thinking. So they kind of use it for therapy. They got us into lots of these arguments and open it up so that it just releases and make room for you to work it out and massage it out until it's completely gone. So I don't know. It does seem weird to introduce it to your kids, but I feel like kids, they do eventually experience these things. And it's kind of like the same debate we had before. I'd rather do it in a safe space, at least,
It's true.
and do it safely. Um,
That's fair.
I mean, have y'all seen Euphoria? Like, these kids gonna get to the drugs.
Ooh.
Like,
Oh, early too.
yeah, like regardless of if you want them to or not, like if they want to do that shit, they gonna do it. So, like you said, the controlled environment, like let's do this. But that's been a conversation I've been hearing a lot with psychedelics is like having mind opening experiences, just being able to work out your emotions, feel them like on a higher level, and so you can figure them out. And I respect that.
Have you guys ever allegedly used psychedelics?
No, I haven't. I haven't. I don't know if I'm ready for that.
yeah, I might have. I might have done it.
What would your hypothetical experience have been like? Like, did it feel life changing?
Allegedly, yeah. I mean, the experience was definitely it was mind opening. You learn a lot about yourself. It does like dig deeper into your mind. Also, it makes like a connection because you see everything moves on like a similar wavelength. Yourself and everything around you. So I feel like it can be used for therapy. I can see it. I can see that working if they do it in moderation and things like that. Would I tell people to use it though? And would I give it to my child? Probably not. I probably wouldn't. Um, because I feel like when the people talk about drugs and things like this, one of those drugs that I feel like maybe it could be like a gateway to something else.
Hmm.
Shrooms. Maybe not for a lot of people, but I feel like when people experience shrooms, they're probably gonna want like a stronger experience. They're gonna want to continuously do it, and I feel like that's like leaving the door open for your kids to get into some really messed up things very early. So I don't think I really want to introduce them to that per se.
That's the only reason I haven't done psychedelics. Like, I hear amazing stories from other people about, oh my goodness, you have to do this. This was like so amazing. Da, 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 da. It was so life changing. But I feel like I don't know. I think I would have a hard time readjusting back to like normal life. I feel like I would always want to feel that same feeling. And I could see it being a gateway for me, at least. I respect people who, can use it on a medicinal level or just to kick it, but I know me.
Yeah, I know me too, and that's why I know I probably shouldn't do it because people talk about the bad trips and shit like that, and
Hmm.
I'm like almost positive I'll like freak out and go crazy because, like I said, like mentally I'm not all the way where it's like, oh, like let's have a happy time. Like that's just not gonna happen for me right now, and so I
Yeah,
shouldn't.
bad trips are scary as hell.
Yeah,
That's for sure.
yeah. Like I've had that from weed before, like where I was just like tweaking off the weed. So like imagine the shroom, like me just
What? You were tweaking off of it?
yeah, I had that multiple times, like for sure, for
What do
sure.
you consider tweaking though?
I won't even say not hallucinating. It's not that, but like just having like feeling like you're having a bad trip, where it's like, oh my god, like you're just worrying about it, almost like a panic attack.
Oh, you're talking about just being anxious?
Yeah, 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 yeah. Yep,
Because
yep.
some we do like have that anxious feeling.
So yeah, I don't know if I'm ready for that, but I do want to talk about like the mind opening things. Like I kind of want to see what like that might be like the only reason why I would want to do it, because I want to figure out like what do they mean, because I feel like I'm
Yeah.
already pretty open minded about things. I'm already very self aware about myself. There's not really any blind spots with me. You know what I mean? So it's like what how much further can my mind be open? You know what I mean? That's what kind of makes me curious sometimes.
So you don't want to like see things. I feel like a lot of people when they do shrooms, they have this image like they're gonna see unicorns and things just pop up. Like I feel like that's what people have this illusion that that's what happens and you just freak out. Is that like the experience you're kind of thinking about you want to try or?
No. If anything, I would just do it just so I can figure out like open my mind more. Like, but I'm just saying like how could I open my mind more? Like I don't care about the visuals. Like oh my god, like it looks like the sky is floating. Like I don't really care about that.
I mean, I agree. I mean, it definitely opens up your mind. Yeah, I mean, I would tell people go ahead and try it. Like if you old enough, I just wouldn't give it to a child, but older people, yeah, go ahead, like try it out.
What's a child like? What you mean like 18 and under?
Yeah, like once you old enough to make your own decisions and everything, that then you're no longer a child.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not really mad at Jada Pinkett for this because, you can't tell people how to parent, even though sometimes I want to, but you can't tell people how to like raise their kids, right? And so if that's what she felt like was the best decision for the family and was going to bring them closer together, then I guess can we really be critical of it?
I mean, she an addict. That's what it sounds like.
How you figure that?
Like how you gonna feed your addiction to your kids? Like, cause you like doing. That's kind of how I look at it, but
You don't even, how you know that might have been her first time doing it too?
stop it. That was not her first time. Come on now.
Probably not, because you probably wouldn't give it to your kids the first time if it was your first time too.
Yeah,
But
you would. You have to be comfortable with something enough to be like, oh, this wouldn't hurt them, and I think this would be beneficial. Like you have to be
Mm.
someone who probably used it plenty of times for you to make that assessment and give it to your child.
Do you think objectively Jade is a good mom?
I'm not going to answer that question. I have an answer, but I don't know. I feel like I said, I don't want to tell nobody like, oh, they bad mom and like they parenting skills. But
Yeah, I'm gonna leave that up to her kids.
yeah, 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 yeah. What do it sound like you have an answer though, Jermaine, because you asked it. So
Hey, nobody else answers, so I'm nope. I'm not getting caught up in that.
And I don't really mean that she's an addict, but like she just enjoys her choice of
no, don't try
drugs.
to back.
So
Didn't trying to backtrack now? You didn't already said it. You try to clean it up. Uh, the thing about Jada Pinkett Smith is like we have when it comes to her parenting, we don't really know a lot about it. Like everything we hear about is like her and her marriage, like her relationship.
nah, that's not true.
Yeah, I
We've
was gonna
definitely
say
heard.
she exposed a lot on Red Table Talk about
Oh,
parenting.
did she? Okay.
Yeah, her kids spoke up a lot too growing up.
Remember, they were trying to Jada and Willow were trying to
Oh,
get
emancipated. Yep,
emancipated. Yeah.
you were so right. I forgot about that. Damn. Okay. Well, uh,
I
Like
mean, it might have been the kids speaking for what they think about the parenting, but
it makes
maybe
so
they
much
feel
sense to
differently.
me though. Like how their kids are now. Like now that I know that they were introduced to those mind and shrooms and stuff. Like how they act and the idea want to be emancipated in a way and grown. I feel like that's the reason why they are how they are and how they're so different. They're just really different kids. Like I do be wondering if Will wanted that for his kids. I wonder how much of a participant he's just quiet.
Yes, I think about that all the time. I feel like the entertainment aspect they got from him, but in terms of like their actual rearing and like what beliefs they were raised with, what values, like the day-to-day stuff, I think that all came from Jada, and I would also be very curious to know if he was like, this is actually not at all what I had intended for my kids.
He's very intentional about not letting his personal life get out. Like I feel
Mhm.
like he really doesn't want his family or anybody to really speak anything on him. Like not public anyways. And I feel like he made sure to let everybody in the circle know, hey, contact me if you feel like you have something to say, don't take it online, because I don't know. It just seems really weird that we don't really know anything about Will until after the August and his wife thing happened.
What do we need to know about him though? Like, I don't know. I don't want to know nothing about Will Smith, to be honest. Like, he dope, I guess, as an actor, but like, all right, like, this is Will Smith. Like, I don't know. Like, I've been feeling this way lately. Just like, why do we give a fuck about celebrities that we don't know? You know what I mean? That's a whole different conversation we'll get into one day. I'm just on my soapbox here, but I don't think that the kids turn out bad though. I think that they super dope. Like, they different. They seem open minded. Like, they fly. Like, they dope to me. Like, they like alternative kids. You know what I mean? Like, alternative black kids that you see in school. Like, that's dope to me. And I think maybe Will disagree with it. Maybe Jay, I don't know, but it happened. It happened how it happened, and they're successful. So can we really hate? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, they love each other, it seemed like, or at least that's how they appear. Even though they all just seem real in their own world. I mean, they're all grown now, so yeah, shout out to them as parents. I mean, as much as we know, at least.
Right, because it could be some other shit going on, but
Yeah, everybody family got problems, so.
most definitely.
True. Very true.
So moving right along, let's go ahead and get into this, this conversation. So there's an artist, if y'all don't know, named Young Blue. I can't remember who he signed to. I want to say he like affiliated with Boosie and shit like that. I don't really listen to him like that, to be honest. But
He not from
y'all
New
tell
York?
me. Young Blue? I don't know where
I think he is.
is he?
I think so.
I have no idea, to be honest.
He had a couple of good songs, or at least a song that I might have heard before.
Mm-hmm.
Because he had a song with her, I think. Like, it was on their project.
Yeah.
And I think that sounded pretty good.
Oh, he from Mobile. Okay. Oh, he from Alabama. I didn't realize that.
Oh, I really thought he was from New York too. Okay.
Damn, that is so crazy. I didn't realize he was from Alabama. All right, well, maybe I might like.
Yeah, you
his
should
music
know
more.
that.
I know.
Yeah.
I don't really like that nigga music, to be honest. But that's not what the conversation about. So,
Yeah, I was like, who you like from Alabama?
what you want me to name people?
Yeah, is there anybody popular from Alabama
Flo
other than
Milli.
Young Blue?
Flo
Oh, I didn't
Milli.
know Flo Milli was from
Yep.
Bama.
Yeah,
Okay.
she's from Mobile. Everybody from Mobile, and nobody else from anywhere else. No Cap, Ryla Rodriguez, Gucci Mane from Alabama, technically.
That's why Rala be sounding like that on this music.
Exactly. He country as hell. Like, super country. But let's get into this conversation about Young Blue. So Young Blue says something, and I thought it was pretty interesting. It's regarding, artists and being a musician these days and just trying to be successful. So, quote, he said, "You got to do everything except music to get people to listen to music these days." And, I think that speaks to the antics. There's so many antics that goes on. There's so much beef that goes on and stuff like that. Like, I think there's a lot of truth in this statement. Like, how do y'all feel about it? Is the antics and the persona more important than the actual art these days?
I think that's kind of ironic for him to be the one who's saying that, because we all are like at least a little bit familiar with him and his music, but we didn't even know where he was from. So he like was able to pop off without having any antics. Like, I don't know anything about his personal life. I don't know if he's married, has a kid, got a girl. I didn't even know where he was from. So I think he's an example of like, if you make fire music, like people will attach to that. I do think that's harder today. I think you got to do more to stand out. And so like, yeah, the antics do, help you stand out, quote unquote. But
I feel like that's kind of his point, is that all the big name people, they're doing stupid antique shit. So he's like, I don't really want to do that to get big like they do.
But like, what other big name people? I don't think it's the major artists who do antics. It's like the newer artists who are trying to break. Like, he's dope because he broke without any of that.
So who would I say is like in his class? Because he's still a young artist. Would that be the Lil Babies probably around that time? Gunna, like he probably came out around the same time. Like, kind of got big a little bit.
According to his Wikipedia, he's been active since 2013. But in terms of his popularity rising, maybe around that time, I would say.
Like, that's probably the people maybe I associate with him with. I don't know if he was on any Double XL or anything like that covers.
I feel like he came out kind of around like Fabio or like Pop Smoke. Maybe that's why I also thought he was New York. His big hit "You're Still Mine" came out in 2020.
Yeah. When it comes down to the antics, though, people, yeah, I guess people around his age, they are doing stuff like with the snitching, or they're going on social media and doing, I would say, dumb stuff.
Incriminating themselves.
Yeah, like the young boys and stuff like that. Kodak. They're all going back and forth to jail, things of that nature. Everybody, there's always like a shooting, or you hear about these new artists dying that are getting in actual street beef, RICO cases. Um, so I feel like that if you call that antique stuff, I just think artists are too close to the streets, and it needs to get further away from that.
I wouldn't necessarily call that antics. I feel like that's just their life, I guess. I would say antics is shit like NBA young boy getting on a song and saying like, "Man, fuck Lil Durk," yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like the fuck the industry type shit. Like that's antics. Or getting on live talking about, oh, like you talking about you beefing with like antics is when you get on social media or you put things out where it's like you want attention, so you're gonna say a certain thing because you know it's gonna pop. Like niggas getting caught in Ricos, like they were just in the streets, like you know.
Yeah, I'm
So
trying to think who got big off of antic though.
6ix9ine,
Oh yeah, 6ix9ine did for sure. Um,
it fizzled out. It fizzled out a little bit.
Yeah, that's why I don't fully know who he's talking about because outside of 6ix9ine, there are no like major artists I can think of where like uh antics actually help them pop. Like most of them pop because they have quality music to a certain extent. I kind of feel like I get what he's saying, but I also think it's a little bit of an excuse. Like if you make great music, you're going to find your people at some point.
True.
Now, are you going to be Drake? I don't know, but you're going to find your people.
Yeah, no, I agree with that, and I just feel like maybe he an introvert. Like maybe introverts have trouble like navigating the industry and feeling like, oh, I got to be out here, I got to put myself out there like that. Like it almost sounds introverted to me. Like he don't want to be outside and go network and shit like that. So I mean, to me, let me ask y'all this though. So like, if I'm Drake or if I'm Kendrick and I'm sending shots at, or even let's talk about the Pusha T thing that just happened where where he talked about Jim Jones. Like, is that antics? Like, is him like trying to?
let's talk about it. Was a response. Jim Jones took shot at Pusha T. It was over the Drake back and forth shots, and Pusha T was just he was responding. That's what he was doing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, Jim Jones got on some podcast and was talking about Pusha T not top 50 rappers or something like that, and Pusha felt
Hmm.
some type of way about it. Like, I don't even necessarily know if that's antics. I think that's just part of the hip hop game. I'll be more interested for Young Blue to expand and be like, "Yo, this is like call names, name names, so we can figure out like what is he actually talking about." Because
Mm-hmm.
a lot of this shit is just part of the game. Now, if you're getting on live talking about, oh man, like, oh, look who block I'm about to pull up on, like that's antics. But otherwise, if it's in the music, then it's like they're just making music. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's just too many artists right now as well. There's just so many different people you can listen to. New artists come out every day. It's hard to stay relevant.
And there's so many subgenres now. Like you can now be super niche. And in some ways that's a good thing. Like there's going to be somebody who wants to like listen to it, but there's so many genres in hip hop now that didn't exist even, 10 years ago. I think one of the things he might be referring to, but I don't know, would be more of like the social media, like TikTok stuff, like creating a song that can easily go viral in TikTok.
Hmm.
Um, I'm gonna guess maybe that's what he means because that's how a lot of music, drops these days. I
True.
really got. I think that's gonna be interesting to see like the long term effects of that. At the BET Awards last week, I will say it almost felt like the TikTok Awards at a certain point. Like some of the songs, I was like, I've never heard this song in the radio, but I've heard it on TikTok. Never heard this play anywhere, but I've heard it on TikTok. Um, and some of the things, like outside of they ring off on that one TikTok viral part, and then after that, it's like the crowd dies down. Like nobody really cares because the only parts that people know are you know, the 15 seconds that go crazy on TikTok.
I was literally just thinking about that the other day because there was a song called Tampa that I like, but I heard it from a TikTok. But I took it upon myself to actually go listen to the actual song, and like I like the actual song, and I think that people don't take the time to go and like let me go actually check out and see like the other things that they said. Like this a hot
Mm-hmm.
line, but like what's the rest of the shit? You know what I mean? But that's just me. Now let's go with your premise though, Jermaine. Let's say that that's what he's talking about. I can understand him being jealous that like all niggas making TikTok music, they just making music that's gonna pop right quick. Ooh, I can get you being jealous about that. But that's to me that's just master marketing. Like you know where the audience is or potential audience is, and it's like, hey, let me cater to this audience, right? Like I think that's just it sounds like hate to me. Like if that's what he's talking about, that's hate.
And I get that that might not be a game you want to play as an artist, but like if we're talking about, let's say, a 10 to 13 song EP, mixtape, album, whatever you want to call it, you just need one of those to have some virality to it. You just need one of those to have a hotline that people want to, do TikToks to, that's going to shoot you up the charts. And then you got to hope that that gets other people, like you said, interested to actually check out the rest of the project. And then the rest of the project actually needs to be dope.
Before we go, let's talk about that. Let's kind of end on this. So if I was an artist, I dropped a 13 song album, and I had one viral TikTok song. Should the rest of the album sound like other viral TikTok shit, or should the rest of the album be what you want it to be? Because in my opinion, I feel like you might as well just lean into it, and everything should just be a viral song. Like everything should be TikToky versus you trying to like trick them and get one viral thing, and then it's like, all right, but now I'm gonna give you my boom bap shit. Like that's not conducive to really holding your fan base down. I feel like
Like Lil Nas X, he gave him that one little country record, and then ain't never go back to that ever again.
never revisited it.
True.
That is so interesting. I never thought about that.
That's a good point.
Yeah, but I mean, Lil Nas X was successful after that. He had hits after that. You know what I mean? So it's like,
He got so big off of that one song, becoming like one of the biggest records ever, that anything he dropped and his writers and his team was just going to be so big that he wasn't going to fail. His writers got a whole lot better.
definitely. So it worked for Lil Nas X. So maybe that's how it could be. I think that maybe you could still switch it up. But I mean, he kind of fizzled out a little bit too. I ain't heard from him. So it's like maybe he should have
Mm-mm.
just kept doing that. Like that country show was a vibe to me. Like I thought that could have been.
I mean, he taking a break like most artists do. Like of his caliber, I guess. They take years off.
I guess.
I don't know if he has enough fame to support him taking years off though. But that Old Town Road, yeah, that shit went hard.
Do Cardi have enough fame to take a break? How long she do this? Or
I think because she's been on so many features over the past couple years, like she's been able to give herself time to take a break. And whenever she does, if she does drop something else again, yeah, she'll still be relevant.
I mean, he do features too, though.
Really?
Yeah, like he had that one with what was that? Jack Harlow that went big.
I thought Jack Harlow was on his
Yeah,
song.
that was his song.
Oh, that was his song. Oh, okay.
I don't think I ever heard him on a feature, which is strange. Like I feel like that would be.
I just don't know his music like that. But I mean, I could have swore I thought that was Jack Harlow's song.
No, industry baby, that's his song. But you know what? I think we should go ahead and close it out here. I think I want to get into some highlights. So y'all got anything to highlight this week?
Yes, I'm gonna highlight a project I haven't even listened to yet, but I know it's gonna be fire. I haven't gotten around to it yet, but Terrence Martin just released his new album, Fine Tune. He's always a favorite for me, so that's what I'm gonna be listening to all weekend.
Okay, super dope. Raj, you got anything to highlight this week?
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and highlight Olivia Dean. She is this UK singer. She just dropped Messy. It's about 12 songs and there's some real bangers on here. I'm really like The Hardest Part, Messy, and pretty much most of these songs on here is really good. And y'all should go check her out.
Okay, you said Olivia Dean.
Yeah, Olivia Dean.
Okay.
Project just came out called Messy.
Okay, super dope, super dope. You know, man, I got so many things that I'd be wanting to highlight, but this week, let me highlight. I'm gonna highlight Kenny Mason, man. Kenny Mason out of Atlanta, definitely a super dope artist that I've talked about on here before. But he just drops music that I just fuck with it. Like I can't really explain why, but it's just good to me. He can rap pretty good. Great beat selection. So let me highlight Kenny Mason, Dracula. Check that joint out if y'all get a chance, and yeah, let us know.
It's
Let
a
us know what y'all
song
think.
or a tape.
I think. Let me see. I want to say the actual tape is called Dracula. Let me see. No, actually, the tape is called Six, but the song is called Dracula. But yeah, he dropped like a whole tape like this month. So yeah, but check that out. Check out all our highlights and let us know what y'all think about them joints. But other than that, man, if you made it this far, we appreciate you for listening. This has been the Friends Podcast, and we out. Peace out.
Bye.
Peace.